This right here is the iQoo 9 SE, and this right here is the Realme GT 2, not the Pro, just the GT 2, although it still has a paper white edition. But regardless, the point is that these two phones are priced under rupees 35,000 and offer the Snapdragon 888 processor. For some reason, the brands have been not actually giving a proper attention to these devices, but obviously as consumers we love them. And the main question is, under rupees 35,000, which device is the better pick? Now, I have been using both of the devices and comparing them side by side, and trust me, this is probably the closest comparison video that you'll ever see. So without wasting any time, this is Varun from GTR, and you're watching my in-depth comparison of the Realme GT 2 with the iQoo 9 SE. Let's get started. Alright, so first things first, let's start by talking about the design here. Now, they both look premium in their own ways, and that's really nice because, like we know, design is always subjective. And I mean, you have something for everyone's taste. Texture-wise, I would say that Realme definitely looks better, and it's also more grippier thanks to its paper finish. Also, this does make it a little bit more flauntable because it's a bit more unique, while the iQoo 9 SE, thanks to its glass body, is kind of like every other flagship device but still premium in its own ways. Now, the frosted finish on the 9 SE does hold up well against fingerprint smudges. However, obviously Realme's finish is much better than that. Now, in terms of the in-hand feel, they both have pretty much the same weight, so that's fine. And the in-hand feel is also equally good, so no clear winner here. Although I will say that the iQoo 9 SE is a bit slimmer in comparison, which does make it slightly better to hold. But then again, Realme's back has that grippy finish like I highlighted, so I think once again, they're both balanced. Now, as far as the connectivity goes, you get dual SIM slots on both the devices, and there is no micro SD card slot or 3.5 headphone jack. As of 5G connectivity, you can see the 5G band supported on your screen by both the devices right now. Moving on, we have the display, and it's basically the same 6.62 inches, 120Hz Super AMOLED panel with HDR10 Plus certification. Now, iQoo has 1200 nits of peak brightness while Realme has 1300 nits. However, in our testing, they both seem to be pretty much at par, and it's very hard to actually find a difference. Now, both the devices are wideband L1 certified and support HDR on YouTube. And furthermore, both of them come with their own implementations of MEMC as well for video smoothing. Basically, even if your video is short or running at a lower frame rate, these devices will make it look far more smoother by frame interpolation, and basically that's a lot technical, but basically your videos will look a lot more smoother regardless of which device is used. Now, speaking of videos, one thing I would like to highlight is that the iQoo 9 SE does support HDR inside Netflix. The Realme GT2 at the time of recording does not support that. However, the panel is HDR10 Plus certified, so I'm pretty sure that a software update should fix that. However, I felt it's important to highlight as things are right now in front of me. Now, of course, the display segment is aided by the audio department, and you get stereo speakers on both the devices, and both of them are equally good. Okay, so next up, let's talk about these lovely cameras. I'm sure a lot of you guys might be interested in knowing which device has the best flagship or budget flagship or flagship killer kind of a camera setup. Regardless of what you call the 30 to 35 size category, both of the devices come with very good camera hardware as well as software optimization, which let's talk about. So on paper, Realme has a 50MP OIS primary sensor with an 8MP ultrawide sensor and a 2MP macro sensor. On the other hand, the iQoo 9 SE comes with a 48MP OIS primary sensor, a 13MP ultrawide sensor, and a 2MP depth sensor. Up front, they both have the same 16MP selfie sensor. Now, as far as the camera performance is concerned, in daylight shots, Realme seems to have better HDR. Now, iQoo clicks more contrasty images that look kind of cinematic but a little bit away from reality. iQoo's shots are also a bit more vibrant. Now, if you want images ready to post without any manual processing, you'll fancy iQoo quite a lot. There's also the fact that iQoo tends to saturate blues a lot, which I personally do not like, but I'm sure there will be fans of it. Other than that, moving on to low light shots, iQoo has slightly warmer tones here. However, apart from the color tones, both the phones have excellent low light performance. There are instances where Realme performs slightly better, while in some cases iQoo just edges out with a better noise cancellation. But to be honest, at the end of the day, for photography, you can't go wrong with either of the devices. Now, as far as selfies are concerned, they are slightly softer on the Realme GT2, something that we've seen from Realme multiple times, while on the iQOO 9 SE they are quite detailed. However, there is still a difference in the color profiles that we've seen altogether, so you can make a judgment based on your preferences. Also, all of that was my own analysis. If you want, you can feel free to download all of the images untouched from the link down in the description box. It's a direct download link, no ads, no surveys, nothing. We always provide direct download links to all of the camera samples directly from the devices for our viewers to check them out, analyze the images, and basically judge the shots for their own selves. Anyway, moving along, let's talk about the video performance. Alright. So we're recording selfie footage from the Realme GT2, which is on my left, and the iQOO 9 SE, which is on my right side. Now, right off the bat, it's a shame that these are flagship devices, but they both support like 1080p 30 FPS recording, and that's it. Forget 4K, there is no option for 1080p 60 FPS either, and that's disappointing. But other than that, I think the quality is good on both. The HDR is non-existent, as you can see. Although, I was gonna say that there's a lot of sun falling down right now, but not really. Yeah, the HDR is non-existent on both the devices, so there's that. However, at least my face looks good on both, so that's nice. I think I am liking iQoo's footage a little bit more here at the time of recording. However, I'll let you guys be the judge down in the comments below which footage you prefer more. Alright, so we're recording 4K 30 FPS footage from the Realme GT2, which is on my left, and the iQOO 9 SE, which is on my right. There's a bit of frame skipping on both the devices happening right now at the time of recording. Although it's far more aggressive on the GT2, like I'm noticing at least 5 to 7 frames being dropped. Sorry, I'm a gamer, I think I see these things a little bit more clearly, but nonetheless, at least that is what the experience is at the time of recording. Otherwise, I would say that the footage is good on both. HDR is slightly better on Realme, but other than that, both the footages are crisp, no complaints whatsoever, and yeah, both of the devices look really good here. Alright, so moving along, let's talk about the performance here. Now, they both come with the Snapdragon 888 processor with UFS 3.1 storage. Now, as far as the benchmarks are concerned, you can see them on your screen. Now, keep in mind that both the devices were running on high performance mode and monster mode respectively. And as you can see, the iQOO 9 SE has a slight edge in terms of numbers. However, that slightly higher performance does come at a cost, which is the fact that this device does heat up quite fast. I'm not saying that the Realme GT2 does not heat up. I'm just saying that the iQOO 9 SE heats up a little bit faster and is a bit more warm to the touch as compared to the Realme GT2. And you can just see that even after an hour of gaming, the Realme GT2 is still comfortable to hold, while the iQOO 9 SE starts to feel a bit warm, like not just beside the camera module, but the entire back feels a little bit warm. As for day-to-day usage, they're both flagship devices, so no complaints there. Adding on to the performance part, we have the software segment, and with the Realme GT2, you get RealmeUI 3.0 based on Android 12, while the iQOO 9 SE comes with Funtouch OS 12 based on Android 12. Now, the good part here is that both the devices come with latest software versions based on the latest version of Android. As for update history, I am surprised that I'm even saying this, but iQOO and Vivo has had a better track record over the last year when it comes to software updates. So that is one area, like in terms of updates and the frequency of updates, iQOO is better. However, in terms of like the overall likability, the overall functionality, the overall smoothness of the software, I think the RealmeUI is slightly better. Once again, it's not like it's a clear winner. It's a very close call. You can either go for like a bit more smoothness, a bit more likable OS over here, or you can go for more consistent security updates over here. Lastly, we have the battery. Now, the Realme comes with a 5000 mAh battery with 65 watts charger, while the iQOO 9 SE comes with a 4500 mAh battery with a 66 watt fast charger. Now, throughout the video, this is the single point where Realme is the clear winner, because for everything else, they both have been neck to neck. And even in the charging speed, they are neck to neck. 65, 66, basically the same. Obviously, iQOO 9 SE charges faster, but that's because of a comparatively smaller battery. And personally, I would anyway take the 5000 mAh battery here because, let's be honest, it's a flagship processor. Flagship processors are power hungry, and it's best to provide them with as much mAh of battery as you can. So yeah, For me, I would pick the GT2 here, and that is something that I even highlighted in my review of the iQoo 9 SE. Like, everything else is great with the device. 4500 mAh of battery feels a little bit small for a Snapdragon AAA device. So this brings us to the pricing. Now, the iQoo 9 SE has a single variant of the 8 plus 128GB, which is priced at Rs 34,000. As for the Realme GT2, the 8 plus 128GB variant is priced for Rs 35,000, while if you want, you can also purchase the 12 plus 256GB variant for 39,000. Personally, I think that 12 plus 256GB variant is in any way an overkill. You don't need that. Let's just talk about the 8 plus 128GB variants. And technically, it's just a difference of 1,000. And trust me, I've never seen a comparison this close. Like, see, the design is subjective. The displays, basically the same. The camera, once again, basically the same. Just make your choice on what kind of a color profile you want. Everything else is the same. Details are good, HDR is good. Realme edges out in details a little bit, but it's not a significant win. Then we have the software part. Again, depending on what kind of a preference you have, it's still a neck-to-neck performance. Audio, they both have stereo speakers. Both are great. Performance, flagship processors, top-notch performance on both the devices. You won't be disappointed. The only difference is, like I said, the battery. So for 1,000 rupees more, the Realme GT2 offers you a bigger battery, probably a more likable design, at least a unique design, and, well, what else? That's about it. I mean, I can't really say that the software is a major win because, like I said, the security updates is an important factor, and Funtouch OS has become one of my most loved software skins out there. I just hate the fact that gesture navigation is still broken on this, but other than that, Funtouch OS is still as good as RealmeUI. And as a consumer, you won't really find any complaints. So yeah, the point is that you can go ahead and buy any device you want. Just make a call on the basis of the design that you like and the kind of camera profile you like. Personally, I think it's worth to spend 1,000 rupees more on the GT2 because of that battery. And obviously you do get a unique design. But other than that, even if you want to go with the iQoo 9 SE, trust me, it's still an excellent device and you would be just as happy with it. And well, that was it. If you found this video helpful, make sure to let us know by giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel for more awesome tech content. Till then, this is Juan from GTR and I'll see you in the next one.